Global debt reaches a record $281 trillion. Get ready for a new global monetary order. Bitcoin? Gold? Hi, folks, and welcome to The Financial Argument. Paper is poverty. It is only the ghost of money, and not money itself. To understand Thomas Jefferson's quote, it helps to know what real money is. And more importantly, it's necessary to understand why paper money will make you poor. Because it's in times like these, when we witness these historical financial events, that we see how much paper money has simply become a worthless piece of paper. Look at this chart. According to the latest data published a few days ago, global debt has exceeded $281 trillion. This is a record high, surpassing predictions that were already terrible enough. According to the report, the global debt amount increased by $24.1 trillion when compared to 2019, which was $281.5 trillion at the end of last year. It's clear that in the next few years, debt will rise to the quadrillions, and these debts belong to governments, companies, and even worse, households. The increase is far beyond the rise seen during the global financial crisis in 2008. By over 35% since last year to over 355% currently. So what does it mean now that the global debt has hit such horrible numbers? For those of you who've been watching The Financial Argument for a long time, these numbers are no surprise. I've been telling you that the current corrupt economic system, which has been connected to the fiat monetary system for years, is permanently damaged and cannot be recovered. But many people are not aware of what is happening. They're not aware that the US dollar is collapsing and a new monetary order is coming. They are instead focused on the nonsense things, mainstream media, social media, or misconceptions about the health crisis. Worse yet, they view the health crisis as the cause of the current economic crisis. They also forget that the paper money in their pocket is nothing more than a promise made by their government or bank. And we know that they've not kept these promises many times in the past. At the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, the American delegation managed to convince all other nations that the US dollar was the world's new reserve currency, establishing a new monetary system similar to the gold standard. With this agreement, the Bretton Woods system fixed the dollar to gold exchange at $35 per ounce. The reason why other countries agreed to take monetary orders from the UK and give them to the US was primarily because 75% of the world's gold reserves had been in America at the time, and they thought the US would keep their promise. In fact, it was the gold-backed system, not the US dollar, that was accepted. The system was great until 1971, when Nixon officially announced the end of the gold convertibility. Though the debt crisis following Nixon's announcement had been painful, it wouldn't compare to what happened in 2008 and what's happening currently. The theoretical ship had hit the cliffs and was taking on water. Attempts were made to cover the breaches of the ship with limitless money printing, but it was never successful. With the Repo crisis in September 2019, the ship has now hit a massive iceberg, and we've entered a period worse than what many experienced in 2008. Under the belief that the current recession is a result of the 2020 health crisis, the world's central banks continue to make the mistake of printing more paper money, sinking our ship even faster. Those who know what real money is have already saved their lives by jumping in the lifeboats, though there are still some who are standing around listening to the sound of violins. If I could say anything to them, it would be to leave the unlimited money ship before the music played by central bankers goes silent. They do not need to tell us they are not keeping their promises. History proves this is true, and we need to be prepared. Preparing for the worst economic crash in history, perhaps in a few months, with real money. I cannot give you investment advice. I'm just telling you what has happened and how I've been prepared for years. In times of such great financial ruin, when it is coming for us all, it's not only important to prevent our own misery, but to seize opportunities as they come along. Limited money and real money created by God, gold and silver, are always a top priority in my portfolio. I've mentioned in my previous videos that many countries are preparing for a new global monetary order. They've been purchasing gold and silver for years. When there are new developments in gold or silver, I'm prepared to tell you about them. In the same vein, we're going to discuss Bitcoin. Because in preparation for the impending economic doom, I decided to add some Bitcoin to my portfolio and did so before the last major increase. I would like to say again and again that gold and silver are the highest priority for me. Though you should hold your precious metals tight, the latest developments suggest that you should add some Bitcoin to your portfolios too. Even though its volatility bothers me a little, Bitcoin cannot harm me, even if it's the biggest bubble in the world, especially while I have silver in one hand and gold in the other. Rick Reeder is another individual that thinks like me. He's the CIO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset management company with a portfolio of $9 trillion. He says that it makes sense to use Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to diversify the portfolio in the current economic situation. I guess they'll likely make a massive Bitcoin purchase. I know he's had positive comments about Bitcoin before, so his comments on this subject do not surprise me. But what does surprise me are the people who've been talking negatively about Bitcoin for years suddenly turning to Bitcoin completely. Bill Harris, one of PayPal's founders and former CEOs, said in April 2018 that Bitcoin was the biggest scam in history. In January 2018, Dan Schulman, who's still CEO of PayPal, stated that the price of Bitcoin was volatile and that they would focus on blockchain instead. But in October 2020, PayPal announced that it would provide cryptocurrency trading and custody services to its users. The company also stated that it will provide 26 million member businesses with the opportunity to shop with cryptocurrency. According to a study prepared by Pantera Capital in December 2020, PayPal has acquired almost all of its daily Bitcoin mining production for its customers with Square, which provides similar services. Visa CEO Alfred Kelly noted in January 2018 that Bitcoin was speculative and emphasized that they would not process Bitcoin transfers. But in January 2021, Visa announced that it would add cryptocurrencies to its payments network. A few days ago, the company announced it would provide infrastructure that would turn thousands of customers into a cryptocurrency trading and storage platform users. Thus, 100 million bank customers will be able to buy and sell numerous cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, from their own bank accounts without any extra transactions thanks to Visa. Tests have already started with a small bank in the U.S. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said in September 2017 that Bitcoin was a fraudulent cryptocurrency and that if any employee trades Bitcoin, he will immediately fire them out of stupidity. Today, the CEO at the bank is still the same, but COO Daniel Pinto admitted in a statement on February 12th that at some point they would have to get into Bitcoin trading. Even Elon Musk tweeted in December 2020 that Bitcoin was at least as bad as fiat, unlimited dollars, etc., money. However, in January 2021, Tesla converted $1.5 billion of its reserve into Bitcoin. Such examples are countless. So what's going on? Why are the people and institutions who've spoken so terribly about Bitcoin now preferring to use it? First of all, there's a huge demand. Central banks printing unlimited money, negative interest practices unprecedented in human history, and the fact that stock markets bubble are directing investors to new and high-return investments. Central banks such as the Fed, ECB, BOE, BOJ, PBOC, etc. claim that there is no inflation despite printing trillions of dollars worth of money. However, they've been hiding inflation data all over the world, especially in the USA since the 1980s. According to Shadow Stats, which calculates the old official inflation before 1980, inflation in the US is actually so high that the country has hardly achieved positive real growth since the 2000 crisis. According to Michael Saylor, CEO of MicroStrategy, who was the first manager to convert his company's dollar reserves to Bitcoin, the reserves remaining in the US dollar are actually depreciating by at least 10 to 15% annually. Tens of millions of individuals from all over the world who've already experienced and are experiencing this hardship demand the presence as they get to know Bitcoin, especially in countries that are extremely oppressed by inflation. As prices continue to rise, Bitcoin will become common among the public. For this reason, it's logical that the institutions serving millions of customers around the world, such as PayPal, Square, Visa, MasterCard, show interest in Bitcoin in 2021. However, this is not the only thing that makes 2021 different. This year, many big capital owners have also discovered Bitcoin. Looking at the charts of the past years, these big investors see that Bitcoin is volatility, but constantly rises in the long run. They know that the US dollar is collapsing. Undoubtedly, these big investors follow the madness of central banks and politicians more closely and with more concern than all of us. As such, in 2021, large families, big capital owners, and the funds and asset management companies that manage their money had to turn to Bitcoin. These investors, who know the corrupt financial system better than anyone else, have benefited from the blessings of unlimited money thus far. However, they clearly see that the experiment of unlimited money and negative interest rates will not end as beautifully as they've been told up to this point. If you look carefully, the demand is not only for Bitcoin. There is strong interest in all limited monetary assets, including gold, silver, and other cryptocurrencies. In the document informing SEC that Tesla purchased Bitcoin, the company clearly stated that it could buy any other alternative reserve assets, especially gold. As I said, it is crystal clear that a new monetary order is coming. Prepare accordingly with real money and leave the ship before the central banker's music comes to an end. Don't forget to subscribe to The Financial Argument and turn on notifications to stay informed. We'll see you in the next video. God bless y'all.